Oh, there we are. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Sunday night chat. Glad to be here. Hope everybody's having a great 4th of July week. Some of you probably had the whole week off. I didn't. I've had to work every freaking day. So, but that's okay. Anyway, got a great panel. There's a few more invites out there. I don't know if anybody else is coming in. We'll see. I seen Curious was out there. If you want a link, Curious, put it in the comment section and I'll send you a link. I hadn't done it yet, but if you want one, just let me know, dude. Anyway, I'm going to go down the panel and let them do an intro. And y'all just say whatever. I don't know. If you got something coming up, you just your channel, blah, blah, blah. You know the drill. Anyway, SoCal, you start first. Is it just me or can I not hear him?
No, I can't hear him.
I can't hear him either.
I thought maybe he's playing around doing sign language at us or something.
It's my Italian sign language thing. Sorry about that. My mute button was on. Like I was saying, I'm trying to get the side chat thing up, but TR, thanks for having me on. Good to see everyone out there in the chat. I'm working on getting the side chat getting up, but thanks for having me on. Let's rock it.
And if anybody's seen I think it's my latest video where I reposted the 50 cal round going off in the fire at Farmageddon. That's SoCal. If you don't recognize his voice, that's SoCal that was hiding behind me as we was watching it.
Thanks, bro.
He was like, you stand there, TR.
Yeah, stand there. I'm sure you're at least fire retardant to at least a minor extreme.
What a fun night. Oh my God. Anyway, Blue 823, would you like to do an intro, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Just real quick.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
But anyway, I am one of the people that has been off the entire week of the 4th. So I really haven't been on YouTube too much. I put up a couple videos, but that was way late in the evening, so I've been neglecting YouTube for at least a week. So if you guys have put videos out, they're so far gone now I can't go back and watch them. But good to see everybody out in the side chat. I just pulled that up, see that we have 36 watching already and a lot of the normal fellas, so I'm ready to get this thing started.
Cool. Mossy Nut, somebody new to my chat, somebody I got to meet face to face and shake his hand at Farmageddon. Go ahead, man.
Thanks for having me on, TR. I have a few pickups this week, some Perfecta and somewhere around here. I got 2 of the AR lowers. Well, they were on sale for $30 a piece, and that's pretty much all I got going on.
Did you say you picked those up at $30 a pop?
Yeah, it was Primary Arms. I think it's still going.
$30 for how many rounds?
AR lowers.
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, for a lower.
I was sharing a video and stuff. I'm sorry. I was doing some other stuff. I heard you say 380, then I heard $30, and I was like, damn. No, that's a good deal.
Yeah, yeah. Around here, it's like $80 for a lower. I know some people can find them for $50, but that don't happen around here. So I picked up a couple because even paying the FFL and everything, I still got 2 for the price of 1. So.
All right, what's the website you got that out of again?
Primary Arms, I believe is what it was. Let me, I've got the paper here. Let me double check that.
Yeah, I can't believe that $30 for a lower. I think the cheapest I've seen them recently, at least in California, is probably somewhere around 100. But it's California. What do you expect, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's primary arms.
Okay, cool. That's an awesome deal. But yeah, cheapest I've seen is 50. So blemished, which is really the same thing. Anyway, we'll move on. Trees are blowing. Don, would you like to do an intro, my friend?
I'll just say thanks for having me, TR, and whatever.
There you go. All right, I got to do a video on it. My friend that's out there in the chat right now, Tool Monkey, he was commenting earlier. I don't know if he's still out there or not. I actually work with this guy. He does have a YouTube channel. He's got a couple videos, gardening, some other stuff, just a couple. But anyway, really good guy, really, really cool guy. He bought me some ballistic elbow pads. This company makes these will withstand a 9mm bullet at 1,100 feet per second. He was like, TR needs some elbow pads if he's going to keep shooting out in the yard. He bought me some elbow pads.
So tell us all, how are you going to test those?
I'm not going to test them. I might do a video showing them off, but I'm not going to test them. That was a scientific experiment, and I found out what I needed to know. Do not shoot an AR-15 at a metal plate, a thick metal plate at 15 feet. Just don't do it. I already proved it. I don't have to prove anything else. Because the next one might hit me square in the damn head. I don't know.
I'd be more worried about getting hit square in the junk.
Well, at least I'd had pants, but my damn raw elbow, like I say, it's healing up. There it is. It's not, it don't look as bad as you think it might. You know, I'm thinking that there might be something inside me there. It's that dark spot.
Yeah, if it turns green, go get that.
Yeah, if it turns green, I might have a problem.
You're kind of like a ricochet magnet.
Stranger.
You're a ricochet magnet. I remember down at the farm, we both got hit
by the same piece of metal, I think.
I'm just glad it hit you first.
You guys are blood brothers now.
Yeah.
Slowed it down.
Rick, get your sweeps covered. What's up, dude? Where you been? You've been fighting fires, ain't you?
There's fires all over the place, but no, I've been on vacation. Oh, man, I'm glad to be back, though. Huh?
I said, they let you on vacation with all those fires they got going on?
Yeah, they already let me go before I got there, before they started.
No.
I went and visited our northern brothers up in Canada. Went on a cruise ship. Ate a shit ton of lobster in Maine. Good times. Good times. How's everybody doing tonight?
Glad you could join us, man.
Yeah.
I actually thought they just had you pinned down in California fighting all those fires, because I know there's a lot going on over there.
There is a bunch. We got a crew out right now. But no, so far I just actually flew in today, so I'm not even officially on duty yet until tomorrow morning.
Did you guys get deployed to the Pendleton fire?
No, they went to, which fire did they say? It's up north. I can't even think of the name of it. It's that 22,000 acre one or whatever it was.
Yeah, I
gotta get all updated. I can't even know where it's at. Running behind the power curve here.
So you're sitting in an empty fire station with no guys because they're all deployed.
No, we got guys that came in. We got guys that came in to cover our rural area. There we go. Now I got the chat up.
Well, right now I don't have any subject to talk about, so if anybody wants to open with anything they want to talk about, I don't care what it is. Y'all go right ahead, and we'll all chime in on it or not or whatever. So,
Well, while I got, go ahead, Mousy.
But actually, I was going to ask you, Don, if you'd got an answer to your question on that reloading video.
Yeah, I was curious too.
Well, Papa's Place PM me this morning, said, give me a call about 2:30 this afternoon. So me and him did some brainstorming. And neither one of us definitely didn't come up with it, because everything he mentioned he thought of, I already did it. And we finally narrowed it down that it's in the bullet seating area. Now, whether I'm not belling it out enough or the cases, because most of the cases I'm having problems with, like, now I got one here on the bench here. It's a CBC, which is, yeah, I can't even think of the name of the ammo company now. Oh, well, anyway, it's foreign brass. But I went through some after I talked to him, and I found some Remington brass that wouldn't chamber in it either. So it's something to do in the seating or the crimp, or it's like I told him, I says, you know, I've never had any problem with the wolf barrel until I loaded this last batch last week. I loaded 800 last week. Of course, I always chambered, you know, check a few of them. And I run across some, and I thought, oh, crap. So I started 100%ing them, putting this over here, blah, blah, blah. I ended up going through all of them, and I had 200 of the red, the Harbor Freight powder coated for the, all marked up in the wolf barrel, because I've never had a problem with them. And I found some of them in there that wasn't chambering in the wolf barrel. Some of them's close enough, but once that slide slams forward, they would probably be all right, but some of them stick out far enough. I've already seen it back a while back when I run into a couple of them, and you've got to take the barrel and put it up by a 2x4 and really just ram it to, after you drop the magazine, of course, to get it out. It's like I told Papa, maybe my press is just, you know, after 41 years, maybe it's just finally wearing out.
Well, like I put in that comment.
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
had the same issue. Oh, sorry. I had the same issue, and it ended up being the crimping station. It was basically not squishing it down, but it was doing something. I mean, I was on the phone with Dylan for probably an hour, and we went through every stage. We measured every caliber, you know, every chamber as it went through every process, and we did that for like an hour. And it ended up being the crimp for some reason.
Well, that's what Papa's, or Les, I should say. That was one of his things. But I checked the crimp, and everyone I checked, they're within a thousandth of one another. But we did one. We painted it. Well, I painted it totally black. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that gold.
That's where it's
this
rubbing?
one won't chamber, and that's where it's rubbing right there. So it's got to be something to do seating that bullet.
Put it up higher. Higher on the camera, Don.
It's about 220 thousandths down from the mouth of the case. It don't feel like a bulge or look like a bulge, but it definitely rubbing there, because I put it in the chamber and took some pliers and really worked it and got that mark on it.
I'm surprised if you didn't crimp it just a little bit more. I mean, not that you want to over crimp it, but it didn't seat after that.
Yeah, I crimped it when I got done with the video. I thought, well, let's just crimp a few of them that don't go and see a little heavier crimp will do it. No, didn't even budget at all.
See, I had to go the other way. I had to make less of a crimp. On my 40, I don't even think it really has a crimp.
You're just taking the bell out.
Yeah, just taking it back to flat.
Well, I don't want to ask a stupid question, Don, but did you resize the bullets after you powder coated them?
Oh yeah, okay. I resized the lead bullet when it come in because they was so much oversized. They was like 359, 360, and knowing from the last time I didn't do that, I powder coated over that and added another 3 or 4 thousandths on it. And it was just, I really had to lube them with oil in order to get them sized. So I sized them the raw lead, and then after I powder coated them, I sized them again. And that's what Les was asking me today. He says, well, are the bullets still, the diameter? He said, sometimes it'll change. So I took some out and mic'd them up, and they're 356.
Okay.
So.
And the crimping die you're using, is it trying to put a roll crimp or a taper crimp on it?
Taper crimp.
Taper crimp? Okay.
Yeah, for an semi-automatic, that's all I use is taper.
Yeah, that's the right way to do it.
Yeah. I even used it back on that 44.
If you get old factory dies, they still try to roll crimp even a 45 ACP or a 9mm. So I just had to ask.
Yeah. So I'm going to try some more. I'm going to sort some brass out tomorrow and load up some more. And I'm going to try belling them a little bit more. Maybe I'm just not getting them belled enough. I mean, it's where it's been for buku ages because I got it locked right into that spot. So, but I noticed the top of my, at the press, when I get up to the top of the stroke, and I've never noticed it before, and it may have a little bit to do with it, but I don't think it's the whole problem. But it's got a little bit of wobble in it. I mean, it's not sloppy wobble, but it's definitely got a little bit. Like I said, 41 years, this thing has loaded thousands of rounds, so it may be.
How old are your dies? If you have
TR, the 9s and the 45s, I have no idea. They're not that old, I wouldn't think. I mean, they've loaded, especially the 9s, they've loaded a lot more rounds than the 45. Oh, and that's another thing. The other day, I was checking some of my 45s, and I had 2 of them that wouldn't chamber in my 1911 barrel. Same thing.
It gets back to something you mentioned that maybe my dies are wore out. I mean, it's wear and tear, metal against metal. I mean, I don't care if it's brass against a carbon steel. It's still going to wear.
Right.
I work in plastic. I work in plastics. Melted plastic shooting through tool steel. Over time, it wears it out just like a river rock. Water wears out a rock to make it smooth. You got a softer material. It still wears out that hardened material eventually.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that may be all it is just your freaking dies are wore out.
Did you look inside the crimp die just to see if there was any debris or?
Yeah, I took the plug out and cleaned them all out and everything. I've done everything I could think of. That's why I put the video up.
I would spend $20-$30 and just buy a set of another dies, whether they leave or whoever, and just see if I don't fix the problem.
Yeah, I was looking at presses today. I've been on the internet pretty much all day, checking out the Lee turrets and Hornady.
Wrong color.
Hornady lock and load AP and what's the difference between a Dillon 550B, C? It seems like there was an A too.
Get the 650.
Nah, I ain't gonna spend that much money on it.
It's $50 more.
I don't even know if I want to spend that much. I'm thinking of the Lee turret because it's got the automatic feed on it. And at my age, man, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be doing this crap.
I just bought a Lee turret just for fun to try out. I think it was like $100 and something bucks.
124 on Amazon for the classic.
It's way better than a single stage, but it's not. I'm in August for my birthday. I want to get a 650.
You pronounce that wrong, Rick. You want a 1050.
No, I don't need a 1050.
Yeah, you do. You just don't know it yet. Promise.
Well, and then I'll get a 1050 after I get my 650.
On the 550, I really don't know what to tell you, Don. I think it's just maybe what you was looking up. I mean, all I see on the Dillon latest magazine I got is a C. That's all I see that they offer. So I imagine the A, B, C is just upgrades to it.
I honestly wasn't even aware, not that I'm the end-all expert at friggin' Dillon, but I didn't even know there was differences in their presses from version to version. I thought, 650, 650, 650, 650, 650.
Well, if they sell them as a kit, there's there's 4. I'm looking at the book right here.
Wait,
but yeah, you can do.
Show us the cover. Forget about the stuff on the inside.
650,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
No, I'll show you what you're talking about. Hold on a second. Actually, the new this month's is better. It had more magic on it. But you can get the upgrades to the 550. Yeah, here's a 550B. And you can actually make, I think your 450, I was looking at something, it might be in the other book, but you can make it a progressive by doing an upgrade to the mount or something like that.
Are you talking about the square deal?
No, that one's only pistols. And it works great. I got one that I've had for quite a few years, and it works awesome. But you can't put no rifle.
Daniel, you're right. I don't know how to read. I look at pictures, and if I can't figure it out from there, I'll look it up on YouTube.
There you go.
That's why it's here, right?
But Don, a good example, and this is a shit ton of rounds. The 550B, they say 400 to 600 rounds per hour, and the 650 is 500 to 800. But you know what? They say 300 to 500 for the deal square B, and I don't think I can pull that off in an hour because I'm checking every powder, making sure the powder's right, and I don't need the whole ass anyways.
The 1050 they advertise is like something ridiculous, like between like 800 and
1100. It's 1,000.
Yeah, screw that. The best I could do
1,000.
is like cranking, given that you have to put new primers in. The case feeder only holds, maybe 500 max at pistol. Otherwise, it clogs and jams up. Best I can do is like maybe 700.
Yeah.
But still, that's freaking better than Coda Boy's doing.
Yeah. True. I know. I tried to get Pops to sell me his, but he never responded. I was trying to get him to buy the 1050 so I could buy a 650 that came from you, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have my permission to sell that to you. Maybe somebody else.
Asshole.
Maybe me, huh?
Yeah, that's fine. That's perfectly fine.
Anybody but Rick, basically. Let's see how you are.
Yep, no snapper heads.
No snapper heads. Don't get me started on that shit. I've been very calm and haven't said anything.
Yes, you have, and that was a joke. I don't know if you've seen my comment, but
oh yeah, there's a few on there.
That's right. You're in that conversation anyway.
Yeah.
Never mind. Forget.
Exhibit.
That's his side.
Is he still going on about that? That's I don't follow it at all.
Yeah, he put up a video a day or two ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, it's worse.
It's getting bad to the point that people at Farmageddon is finally stepping up and making comments and stuff about it. So anyway, for anybody that don't know what's going on there, don't worry about it. Don't even.
Nothing to see here. Move along. Move along.
Get along, little doggy. What's old Mossy Nut up to?
Yeah, we got a new member here. I don't know. Mossy is the first night here.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on there, TR. I'm kind of starting to become a chat whore like you.
There you go.
He's representing the Vape Nation.
Vape Nation and the Headset Nation.
Hell yeah.
Well, I couldn't. I just got this yesterday for Rich's chat, and I couldn't hardly hear just going off my laptop. And I'm still getting used to this thing. I have a tiny little fan here. I I can't hardly hear it, but apparently this mic picks it up very well. And thanks to TR for letting me know. I was really screwing that chat up yesterday.
Well, I'm glad you took it well and didn't take me out to be a butthole about it. I was just like, dude, you need to shut that off. You need to mute your mic.
No, that's how we learn. Hell, I'm still new to all this stuff, so no, I really appreciated that.
I like how you have the mic way out so the beard doesn't interfere with it.
I saw that too.
Whisker burns.
That's key. Don't want any facial hair like oh, I just totally spaced the word. I had the word. It was right there. Fuck it.
It wasn't right there because it never made it out.
No, it was there, but it never made it there. Yeah.
Tell your wife to put some clothes on. She just walked through the bathroom.
Clothes? She's wearing a long sleeve shirt and a fucking pair of jeans, dude. What are you talking about?
I missed that. You got another window open, Blue?
Yeah,
I'm on Pornhub you was looking at. That wasn't SoCal's channel.
Yeah, he had an extra window open for sure.
Got one of them sneak-ins that Rich had last night on his chat.
How was Rich's chat? I had to get up early and fly across the United States, so I couldn't hang out.
Good. I watched it this morning. Well, I watched some of it last night, and I fell asleep and watched it this morning. He had a black guy come on there, and you're all racist. Old Rich just kicked him right out.
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds like an exciting night. Cool.
Oh,
and then a few minutes later, Gil from Hard Target jumped in. He didn't recognize the actual name of the channel because it wasn't Hard Target. It was something else. I get his name or whatever it was. He booted him out. And Gil was like, what did I do?
Yeah, he's like, I just got here.
Rich is going to learn not to give that open link. I think he gets a kick out of doing that, though.
It can be fun. It's a little scary.
Oh, he had one a month or so ago that was funny. Oh, my God. He kept getting them. He was kicking everybody on the panel. He was even kicking some of them people off, trying to get them.
Who's that?
Rich.
Okay.
A month ago, he left it, and he must have had, I think he got, how many, I forget how many views he said he got, but
1,000 views, yeah.
Yeah, he said it's just ungodly. And I mean, there was one right after another kept popping up. He had about 3 of them on the screen. I forget who he kicked off. He accidentally kicked one of the panelists off too, and of course they can't get back in.
Yeah, you get screwed for like a 24 hours or something, don't you?
Yeah, that was the first chat I'd been on, and that's just because I was trying to take up one of his spots because he said I think 10 people is the most he could have on. So I clicked it just to try and get on to keep some of those jackasses off, and yeah, it was interesting to see all them people flood in like that.
You have a message, sir. You have a message, sir.
Oh, thank you, Jarvis.
Wow. I like that, Blue. Yeah, you need to get that bullet feeder, SoCal. It's 300 and something bucks now. Price has gone down.
Yeah, I honestly, that's like one thing that I don't want to do. I like the aspect of the bullet feeder where it would be a lot, maybe a little bit faster, but that's also what keeps me involved, like mentally and focused on what the machine is doing. And when you got that many stations working in tandem, you need to be pretty focused. And honestly, I reload because it's fun, it's therapy, and I like to be involved in it. Putting a bullet feeder on it, I think, would take a lot of that aspect away. And yeah, I've thought about it and I've looked at them, and I think they're down to like $450 or something. But I don't mind. You know what? A round every 2 seconds I can deal with.
Yeah. I hear you.
I mean, you use a square deal B. How hard is it? Why? I mean, you pull the handle, you push it up, you grab a case, you grab a bullet, you put one here, you put one there. Boom. You pull the handle. How
Yeah,
hard is that?
Right,
it's not that
exactly.
hard.
I mean, I've not used a square deal, but I've had 650s and 1050s, and they both basically work the same. The 1050's got a couple extra little doodads on it,
I just like the
but
case feeder. That's cool.
that's the best $218 you ever spent. I'll tell you that, or whatever it is. I think it's 200 and maybe
Do
50.
you want to know what it is? I got it right here.
Yeah, tell us, Rick.
And the automatic primer filler is $334 for large and small.
I have 2 of those. Those are good. That's good stuff. I hate poking primer.
See, I enjoy that part. I like doing that part. And then when I don't like doing it, my son likes to do it, so it works out good. What am I looking for again?
No, Rick,
right here. 200.
Yeah, no matter how
264.
fast you could, no matter how fast you could have the automatic bullet seeder, the case feeder, the bullet feeder, and all that. It only feeds 100 at a time primers.
Yep, exactly. The magazine's not that long. You know, I could see a stainless tube sticking up like 4 feet.
I was thinking about doing that, a clear plastic one. But
I don't
then
think you could use plastic.
if you don't load that much, like if you want to stop, say at 500 and you got 600 in there, you would you'd have to basically feed all those out so they don't get bad.
Nah.
I kind of, it really don't bother me to, because I mean I got a couple of extra primer tubes, to feed it, and I'll load up a couple of them. And after 200 or 300 rounds, I kind of need to step away for a second anyway. So there's only so fast you really. I mean, how much ammunition do you really need? If you can load 300 to 500 rounds an hour,
now you're just talking crazy, dude.
You're
How
just
much
being silly, man.
ammunition do you actually need? What a silly question.
He must be sick. Are you
compared
sick,
to what you can reload? I'm not saying you don't need 10,000 rounds. I'm just saying, how much time do you spend shooting it, and how much time do you spend loading it?
Yeah, but again, it's not something you do on a weekly basis. At least in my case, I'll go on a binge and load a whole bunch of ammo in maybe a couple hours, and then I'm good. So you're right, but to question how much ammo you actually need is just like asking how many pounds of gold do you really need, or how many zeros do I really need at the end of my check for work, you need all the zeros, you need all the gold, you need all.
I mean, it's just a matter of how much does your Floyd joists, how much weight can they handle? That's my limit of ammo I need. And then I'll start putting it under the house.
Well, I keep mine in my garage, so it's solid concrete foundation.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I'll go on a binge and I'll load up a bunch of ammo, and then I'm good for a while, and then I'll kind of assess my inventory. But to be honest, right now ammo's so cheap, I'm not even reloading that much. I mean, even pistol, it's just like even Winchester makes steel cased ammo now, and it's cheaper to reload it, but I got to come up with a lead, I got to powder coat it, I got to resize it, blah blah blah. If I figure all my labor in, I still reload, but right now I'm just buying it. I just buy steel cased ammo, and that's the only thing I've been shooting. When I went to the last Farmageddon, the only thing I shot was steel cased ammo. Glock, 223, whatever I shot, it was steel cased ammo. I didn't care about the cases. I didn't, because when you're shooting brass and your reloader, you're almost looking to where it's landing more than you're looking at the target. Where's that brass going?
Yeah, I kind of cheat when I'm at my range, my indoor range. There's a big sign on the wall. You're not allowed to pick up brass. It's like, you know what? I've paid my dues. Fuck you guys. I'm picking up brass. It might be that guy's brass or that guy's brass or my brass, but it's now all of my brass. If I can reach it, I'm putting it in my little bag and I'm taking it home.
That's right. Just sweep it up and dump it in your bag.
Over the 4th, which I got video of it, but I don't think I'm going to be able to post it up. I got to break in the new 223 3-round burst. That sumbitch. Everybody was shooting that thing. We definitely broke it in. I know some of you guys military have shot that type of stuff, but I've never done it before. Well, I did it a couple weeks ago, but only about 70 to, well, probably about 90 rounds. But holy shit, that is a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. There was a guy we shot IDPA the other day, and it was kind of a free day where you could bring a rifle or whatever. And I don't know what this is, the electronic trigger, but it basically makes it a full auto. Holy shit, that thing sounded just as fast as full auto. I was like, huh. I can't even believe that's legal, which it's awesome. I mean, every guy should have one. But it's some parts kit that you get. And it's a trigger. It's basically a lower, but it's got an extra button on it like you would with full auto, but it's called something else. And guys out in the audience will probably know what the name of it is, but holy shit, that thing throws out some ammo and it's fast. I was like, you would have never known the difference between full auto and that thing. But I guess it's legal. No, it's not a bump trigger.
Binary triggers. Y'all seen any videos on the binary triggers?
Yeah. It wasn't a bump trigger.
The thing is, I don't really want to feed my gun, but my neighbors already think I have full auto. My neighbor already thinks I have a full auto machine guns because they'll hear me just, go to town one day. They're like, yeah, I heard you with that thing. You better be careful with it. I'm like, it's not freaking full auto. I was just pulling the trigger real fast. If I got a binary trigger, oh my God, FBI, S.H.T.F, everything else probably up here. So, I mean, and don't get me wrong, this is just redneck guy down the road or whatever, but it's like, really? Yeah. I don't know.
Now, what are the laws where you guys are at? Well, minus SoCal, because I know he's just not allowed. Like, can you get a tax stamp for the 3-round burst where you guys are at?
I think 3-round burst would fall under, is it class 3 or class 4? Basically,
Yeah.
You'd have to have a license to have a full auto machine gun.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you can in South Carolina. You can do that in South Carolina.
Yeah,
That's
down here
right
in
there.
Florida, you can have it too. But I've shot a full auto. I don't want to go into details on that because I don't want to get nobody in trouble. I don't know if I can or not, but that was awesome. Didn't last long, but it was pretty cool. But down here, you can do the class 3 stuff and have pretty much whatever you want.
Now, is it pretty pricey where you guys are at to go through?
I think it's just a couple $100. I've never fooled with it, but I think I heard somebody in the gun shop saying it was just like a couple $100. It wasn't that big of a deal. It just takes forever to get it back.
The problem I have with it is that gives the ATF 24-hour access to your home, your safe. They can come, and I'm not saying they would do it, but when you get that license, they can come to your house at any time, demand to see everything you have, every gun, everything you have. You give them full access to you might as well quit locking your door because they could come in at any time, scour your entire house, inventory what you got, and say, okay, you're good or you're bad or whatever. I'm not going to do it just for that.
That's the same though if you got a suppressor or any
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't have them.
Yeah. I know it sucks too, because if you went out and you got your FFL license, say you wanted to start working on them and having people leave the gun there so you can work on it, it's all the same shit. They can come there anytime they want. Oh, and that thing, I don't remember who said it. Let me go over here. But it's the Genius Prepper said the Fostech Echo trigger. That thing is fucking phenomenal. If you want a badass trigger, that's the one to use.
I think the suppressors maybe not as bad because there's so many people with them, but the limited number of people with the class 3, class 4, whatever it is where you can have a full auto machine gun or full auto gun, I shouldn't say machine gun, a full auto gun, that level of scrutiny that you're constantly under, I just don't want it. And plus, I couldn't afford to feed my gun and have fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. And you ain't gonna hit shit any faster or more accurate. That's for damn sure.
But we
I've shot them. I was in the military. I've shot M16s, M60s, 50 BMG. Oh wait, not 50 BMG. What do they call it? You know what I'm talking about. What people call the Maldeus. I don't know why. Anyway, 50 cal toggle handles.
Yeah, well, can't think of what that is.
BMG, full machine gun, belt fed.
Yeah, two-handled.
They call it Maldeus. I don't know why they call it Maldeus, but
No, not the 249.
Yeah, I shot that full auto 223, and it's kind of pointless if you really think about it. I mean, that thing, 30 rounds, if you were to hold the trigger down, is gone instantly. But there's no way you're hitting what you're shooting at. I mean, it's literally like whenever I was shooting it, a couple times I laid into the trigger just to see what it felt like. But it's like you're still doing almost like a 3-round burst. I mean, that's almost what you're in your head. It's like because after 3 to 4, mine didn't walk up so much; it walked right every time I started shooting. That some bitch was, but it was.
It went
fun.
to the right.
Yeah, it went straight right.
Well, M16, a full auto M16, the fire rate is 700 rounds a minute. You got 30 rounds in a mag. Less than 2 seconds, that mag is gone.
Cover fire.
It's actually kind of, really, it's not even. I get it. I was trained in combat. I've been in combat. I get where they have that. But one guy, it don't really do you any good. You need a whole damn platoon doing burst. And yeah, you could clear an area, keep everybody's head down, keep them down while you got the hell out. That's really all that's for. It's not really a good assault tactic because you're going to be out of ammo within 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm. But it is damn fun to shoot.
Okay, now fun factor is a whole different thing. I'm just talking about tactics.
Well, they call that spray and pray or something like that.
Yeah.
Wondering what the
a dozen guys with full auto guns. Yeah, they could. The suppressive fire is awesome as long as they had enough ammo with them, enough magazines. But as far as a effective assault tool or even defensive, you can only carry so much ammo with you. That's where the whole 3-round burst thing come from, which they've done away with, I guess, because they had complications with it. But because I don't even think they issued 3-round burst anymore. I think they're just select fire, full auto or semi. And when I was in Desert Storm, that's what I had. Mine was either safe, semi-auto, full auto. That's all I had. I mean, there was no 3-round burst. Not that I ever shot it.
I wonder how legal it would be for me, because it's not my rifle. Of course, the department owns it. I'm wondering how legal it would be for me to borrow one of them for Farmageddon. I wonder if there's any way I could word it into training.
Yeah, training. Definitely be training.
There you go, training.
Out of state training.
If it's legal for you to have it in your car,
it's just another freaking gun. They're not even going to know that's on there anyways unless they fire it, right? I guess they could click the switch back to see if it went on extra, but
we'll just fire it in reverse to roll the numbers back.
There you go.
Was it have a fucking counter on it?
We'll freaking Ferris that shit.
Yeah, just drive it backwards for a couple days.
Until all the YouTube videos come out.
Well, it would be training to what it could take, because especially if people, well, you've been to Farmageddon now. There's more ammo brought than is shot, and there's a lot of ammo shot. Who would test the hell out of that thing?
Yeah, when I went, I had over 1,000 rounds of 9mm, 1,000 223, and 1,000 7.62 by 39. And unfortunately, most of that actually came home with me.
Yeah.
That's because we all stand around bullshitting more than we do shooting, actually.
Yeah, we just get gunpowder now, throw it in the fire. That's about it.
Well, I definitely know the next time I am freaking packing a lot lighter.
We told you ahead of time.
I know you did, but I still.
Yeah, the first time I went, I brought a whole truckload of guns, and then the second time I went, I think I brought 5. That was it.
I think I took 9 guns. I don't even know how much fucking ammo, and ended up shooting 3 of them. 3 of the guns.
Yeah, Billy said he brought 5,000 rounds of 223. That's shit done.
I mean, it's good that everybody brings extra. Don't get me wrong, because you don't never know where we're going to go, what we're going to do. I mean, we don't even know. Pops didn't even know what we was going to do. It's like, well, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, but in between, who the hell knows?
Well, that's like shotgun. Not last year, but the year before, we shot a shit ton of shotgun. But that last year, I think I shot like 200 rounds. That was it.
Yeah.
Not even that.
Shotgun
Probably
wasn't a big deal this last time. The time before that, we was shooting the hell out of some shotguns.
Yeah. My shoulder, when I walked over to the sporting clay section, I was like, fuck. I'm like, nah. Done. What do you say when the trooper pulls you over with all them guns? Check this shit out. That's what you say.
Exactly. You want to see my guns? Check out my trunk.
Yeah. You think you got some guns in your car? Watch this.
That's the one thing I did do. I only had the gun that I carry on me in the driver portion of the vehicle. Everything else, guns and ammo wise, was in the trunk. Of course, if they would have opened it, half that shit was still fully loaded, ready to go. But
whatever, you're a cop, you get away with all sorts of cool shit.
Yeah, I don't need to have and that's because I called every state that I came through. I pre-called them just to make sure. I'm like, hey, look, I'm coming from Pennsylvania. I'm going to I called it a charity event for the Fisher House in South Carolina. I'm going to be transporting a shitload of guns and a shitload of ammo. Do I need to do anything or say anything if I'm stopped? And a couple of the states, which I can't remember which ones right now, they were like, well, if you're stopped and you're asked if you have weapons in the vehicle, you're by state law, you're mandated to tell the officer. But other than that, you don't need anything, even if you're concealed carry, just because you're law enforcement. So cool. And that was every state the whole way down.
That's cool.
Yeah, if they would have stopped me, it was me and Curious Yellow Solar riding up there. So half of my pickup truck bed I had full, and he had the other half. And I don't know how many guns he brought, but I 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I had 6 guns total, and a bunch of ammo. And I don't know what all he had, but it was tight. The two of us getting that truck bed filled.
Going down the fucking interstate, and instead of your truck being flat, the back end's dragging the muffler.
Make sure you don't hit no bumps.
Yeah, no shit. What just flew out? I had plenty of room. I had Bob in the front, had freaking his twin brother in the back. Sitting up.
That happened to me on patrol once. I swear to God is my witness. I'm going down the road. I was going on a hot call. I was probably about 90 miles an hour, and I hit this set of railroad tracks, which is relatively, it's not too bad unless you're going really, really fast. And it was car 6. It was the oldest car we had in our fleet at the time. And we all knew that the trunk lever on it sucked ass. It would just randomly pop open. And we had the one shotgun in the back. It was in one of those hard cases. I hit that fucking railroad tracks. I saw the trunk pop up, and I looked. It was nighttime. I looked in the rearview mirror, didn't see anything, and just fucking kept going. And the call was about 3 miles down the road, just off to the right. So whenever we pulled up, we still had the lights going on. Some fucking good old boy pulls up and's like, you hit the tracks back there, and this came out of your trunk. And he handed me the fucking shotgun with the shotgun case.
What a nice individual. That's right on. Yeah, that's people helping people.
And that's, we have, I mean, that's Christ. We could, I can't tell you how many times some dumbasses put like the PBT, the portable breath test machine, on the hood of the car after a DUI arrest, fucking drove down the road a little bit, and it eventually slides off the back. We always end up with it back. I mean, that's just the area we live in. But yeah, whenever he started walking up to us with that fucking case, because it's an old ass green shell, it looks like a turtle shell case. I was just like, fuck. As soon as I saw it, I knew what it was.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, we didn't. After that, though, I told the chief at the time. I told him straight up, this is what happened. And then they ended up instead of, because I swear to God, this is how redneck we were. Instead of welding the trunk shut so you couldn't get in it, they actually spent a little bit of money and put an actual shotgun mount inside the front part of the car. But it's just like they did contemplate welding the trunk shut or somehow getting it so it would never open.
You should have just got a little clasp thing, like you do for a door or whatever, where you just sling it over and you put the padlock on it, Yeah,
you put a handcuff through the thing. It'd have been good. That would have been legit.
Oh shit! I mean, our department, the one time they the one cruiser, they hit a deer. They got it fixed. Like the body shop fixed it, and instead of them fixing it right, you'd be going down the road, and once you hit a certain speed, the whole hood on the one side just start going like that. Instead of sending it back to the shop that fixed it to get it fixed, what I like to call the right way, they took a fucking glove, a work glove, and put it underneath the hood. So like the little fingertips were sticking out through the crease and slammed it. It's just like
you see that around here on Halloween, people's hands hanging. They got hands hanging out of the trunk.
Yeah. Some of those look real, man. Especially when they first came out. You're like, holy shit, there's a body in the back of that car.
I can just see blood pulling somebody over. Somebody wanting to resist. Well, that's the last guy that resists. You see his fingers sticking out of the hood?
That's right. Don't be him.
It's actually a good idea.
That'd be neat to have something in that, like hands hanging out the back and a recording going on in the truck. Content. Help me! Help me!
With it playing Bad Boys in the background. What you gonna do when blue comes for you?
I used to be but I mean, I think it's every cop. Whenever we first start out, we're arrogant. We're gonna rule the world. We're gonna do everything. I just grew up a lot faster. Oh fuck yes, but
no,
I grew up
that's
a lot
not
faster.
true.
But I used to, every time I'd arrest somebody, I had a CD in my car of Eminem with the song "Criminal" in it. I'd blast it in the car, driving them to jail.
That's awesome.
I'll never forget. I got stuck.
I'm so laid back now that it's not even funny.
I got stopped. I went up to casino by Mount Pleasant one Sunday morning several years ago. I come through Shepherd, and this cop pulled me over. I mean, he reminded me of he was a young kid. I mean, he might have just got out of the academy, like Broderick Crawford back in the old. I don't know if you guys know who he was. You know how they walk up. You know, had his hand on his gun, and I mean, had his sunglasses on. He's, you know, you run a stop sign back there? I said, no, I didn't. He said, just the way he was talking. If I call your record in, am I gonna find anything? I said, yeah, you'll probably find a speeding ticket about 3 years ago. He come back up to me, and I just knew this little cocky thing was gonna nail me. He said, well, Mr. So-and-so, he says, you be careful and have a good day. Thank you, officer. That's the only ticket I ever got out of, and it's one that I figured I'd really get nailed. I mean, he was a cocky little dude.
Yeah.
Bad Billy, Shepherd, Michigan. I think their school colors are hunter orange. That whole northern Michigan's like that.
Now, see, and we got, I don't know, every time we hire a new guy, I bite my goddamn tongue. I mean, it's because, I mean, I was there. I was there, and it was, you kind of have to find your own groove on how to get things done. And these assholes that come out, I don't want to say wanting to start a fight, but that's almost what they're looking for. They want to start a fight to put somebody in the bracelets. It's like, would you chill the fuck out? He threw a goddamn cigarette out the window. It's like
breaking the law.
I've gone to
they fresh out of the police camp, whatever the hell y'all call it, police academy or whatever, and you know, just pumped up and want to bust people and blah blah blah, and they're just a young punk. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I can see it.
I'm just glad most of them grow out of it. But there are still some that, you know, but there again, that's that whole, you got the good ones and you got the bad ones. I hate writing tickets. I can say that. I told my boss that. Look, I hate fucking writing tickets. Absolutely fucking hate it. But whenever I do write a ticket, I would almost guarantee I probably have about a 95% success rate as far as by the time I issue the ticket and everything, and I'm walking away, or, you know, say, you know, have a good day, whatever, the person thanks me at the end of it. I'd say probably 95% of the time they're like, well, thank you. It's like, what are you thanking me for? It's like I turn around like, the hell? But it's all on how you treat people. I've never, unless they're an asshole, you pull over that one fucking idiot and they deserve to get tongue lashed and yelled at and screamed at. It's, look, you did it. Here's your ticket. See you later.
Exactly.
Sit there and belittle them.
If you're usually pretty cool, they'll. But Blue, I could see Blue. He pulls over a guy. You know you're going 150 in a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit, right? So I'm going to ticket you for 60. We're not going to impound your car. I'm not going to take you to jail. And here's a bumper sticker. Have a nice day. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. That's right. Peace out.
Back when I was in high school, I was on a motorcycle, and I don't know how fast I was going, but I was running down the interstate, and it went from whatever it was to 55. And there was all of a sudden there's lights behind me, and I pulled over. He said, "You know how fast you were going?" I said, "No, sir." He said, "Neither do I. You was going too damn fast for me to clock you." He said, "If it wasn't for the fact I don't like doing paperwork, I'd haul your ass to jail right now." He gave me a ticket, said, slow your ass down, and that was the end of it. But pretty much every cop's ever pulled me over has been, if you're wrong, you're wrong. I mean, you know, they're just doing their job. If you're cool with them, I've found they're always cool with me. So just, you know.
I've never had a bad experience with a police officer. Even when I've, you know, tell them I've handed them my concealed carry permit, they never had a problem with them.
Yeah, I had one time I got pulled over for speeding, and he pulled behind me and waited a few minutes. 2 more cop cars pulled in front of me. This guy gets out and kind of peeks around the cab with his hand on his gun. He says, "You got any guns in the car?" I was like, "Oh yeah." So there's a couple long guns behind the seat, and I got a Glock on my hip. So you want to see it? He said, "Hell no. You leave yours where yours is at, and I'll leave mine where mine's at." And I was like, "All right, that sounds good to me." And he gave me my ticket and went on.
Yeah, in Michigan, we have to notify if we're any interaction with the police. We have to notify them.
Yeah, same with California.
Yeah, we don't have that here. If I don't ask you, even if I do ask you, technically you don't have to tell me.
California's not the place, okay?
What's that?
You might want to look into that, because when I had a concealed weapons permit in California, you didn't have to, unless they ask.
No, it says
you don't have
it
to
right
tell
on.
them as soon as you pull up.
No, you do. You do.
Maybe.
Absolutely.
Oh, you have Orange County.
No, it's
No,
the
that
same
wouldn't-
throughout the state. It's the same throughout the entire state. The Department of Justice in California dictates how people are supposed to act, where they can and can't go, et cetera, et cetera. And they give you a little sheet when they give you your license. And every time you renew, they give you the same sheet of paper. These are the places you can't carry. You flip it over, and these are the things you have to do if whatever happens. And anytime you have any contact with law enforcement, doesn't matter how the contact started, you have to inform them that you're carrying a gun.
And in South Carolina, you don't have to either, but they do stress when you're taking your test and going through the class that it's probably better to go ahead and tell them. And I had a buddy of mine that got pulled over not long ago. It might have been a year ago. The police officer already knew he had a concealed weapon permit whenever he ran the stats on him. And anyway, but he like kept his hands on the steering wheel, and the officer mentioned something about seeing that he had a concealed weapon permit, and he's like, "Yes, sir, I do. It's on me. It's on my right side." Blah blah blah. You know, and the police officer was real cool about it, and he's like, "I appreciate you, keeping your hands where I can see them." Blah blah blah. And he's like, "You keep your gun," just like Mossy said. That's what the cop told him. He's like, "You keep your gun on you and don't reach for it, and I won't reach for mine." He was like, "I'm good. I mean, you got me. I'm busted. I was speeding." And he ended up not giving him a ticket or anything. He didn't even give him a warning ticket. He was like, "Okay, well, you slow down. All right."
Well, the thing is, like, I'm guessing it's pretty much 90% of the rest of the nation where you do have to apply for a CHL. I'm not really thinking of states where constitutional carry is, there, but where you have to, you may be entitled, it may be a may issue, or rather a shall issue state. You still have to apply. You have to go through the background check, yada, yada, yada. When all's said and done, you do have the card that says, hey, the local government allows me to carry a concealed weapon. Just by handing that over, I would like to believe, and maybe Blue can kick in here, it kind of raises the bar on what type of individual you are. You're not just some friggin' shitbag, for lack of a better word, that just happens to have a gun on them. It kind of says something about your character.
Oh yeah, if somebody comes right out and says it right off the bat, that kind of de-escalates a situation. And the big reason for that is I don't ever carry a gun in like a center console or a glove box or anything like that, but I know that some people do. And what people might not realize is even though I'm on your driver's side and you're perfectly legal to have that, you freaking hit that glove box and the guy on the passenger side sees a gun and starts yelling gun, that just that floors you in about, I mean, that's from 0 to 60. And if just like what you're saying, look, here's my concealed weapons, I've got this here. At least then, me being the contact, me talking to you, I have a chance to yell across hey, he's got a concealed weapon. It's in his glove box. He has to reach for his credentials or, license, your registration, insurance. And then that person knows that, okay, there's a gun there, but we know it's there because you told us. That lowers the bar.
Yeah. And also I want to preface or actually post, I'm not saying that, constitutional carry, all people are shit bags, but I mean, it does speak to a human's character when they have to go out, get their fingerprints, go through a background check, and they hand you a card that says, hey, there's nothing in your background that says, you're a bad person or a felon or have done some shady shit in your life. Nothing wrong with constitutional carry. I'm just saying the credential of a CCW or CHL or whatever you want to call it kind of does give you that first contact kind of credential for, hey, I'm not a bad guy,
Mm-hmm.
where constitutional carry, you have no idea.
Well, even with the constitutional carry people, we haven't ran into that yet, but I mean, it's technically in the state of PA, if you have a gun laying on the seat of your car and you're anywhere in your car, but plain view, so that we know it's there, technically you are still in violation of the concealed weapon section because it's in a car. So therefore it's concealed and you need to have a concealed weapon permit. It doesn't anywhere in the car unless you're headed from a gun shop to your house, from your house to a gun shop, or from your house to a range, or from the range back to the house. That's the only times you're allowed to have a weapon in your vehicle without a CCW.
I think down here in Florida, even if you're going fishing, you're allowed to have a gun in the vehicle with you without a CCW.
That's because you guys got fucking alligators.
In South Carolina, you can have, before we even had concealed weapon permits that were shall issue, I think that's what it is, shall issue, anyway. But even before that, you could carry a gun in your glove box, period. Even today, you don't have to have a CCW. You can carry a gun in the glove box, in the trunk, wherever. You don't have to have a license to do that. Now, that don't mean you can take it out and take it in the store, but you can have it in your vehicle. That's always. I have never in my adult life not had a gun in my car.
I have never in my adult life not had a gun to the side of me. I don't care if I'm going to fucking church, to a bank, anywhere. I went to the, well, never mind. I won't say that just in case somebody happens to watch this. I don't want to get any deputies in trouble. But yeah, technically, if I'm off duty and I go to the courthouse, like if I want to show my kids, like, hey, that's what happened. I showed my kids where I worked. I may or may not have had a firearm, and some people may or may not have known about it. But you're supposed to check that shit if you're not on duty.
Yeah, we get it. Yeah, I can't say that I've done that, but now that I have a concealed weapon permit, that boy, it is very, very seldom that I don't have a gun on me.
Have you see? I want to ask questions, but I don't want anybody to get in trouble. I don't. It's one of those deals where it's definitely a federal law to carry a gun into a bank. I don't care. I'm exempt. I understand that part, but I wish that we could have a conversation about that, because I'll tell you what, I don't give a fuck if nobody knows you have that gun and the guy standing in front of you pulls a fucking gun and starts to rob the bank and you take out that threat. I'm wondering if anybody would have enough balls to put ramifications against you for stopping that threat.
I don't know how the laws are, and maybe I'm missing something, but even banks in South Carolina, unless they have the proper signs up, it's not against the law to carry a gun in a bank.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, same down here in Florida. As far as I know, you can carry in a bank. And I carry everywhere I go unless I know there's going to be metal detectors. Like the courthouse, I had to go last year and testify for some jackasses that broke into our warehouse. But unless I know there's metal detectors, I'm carrying. I don't care.
Well, just a quick Google search. It says, according to a law center database, Montana is the only state that has a specific law that prohibits concealed weapons in banks.
Yep.
That you can or can't.
Like I said, unless they have proper signage, and I could be wrong. I could be wrong on this because it's been a few years. I mean, I've renewed my license a couple of times and hadn't refreshed on the laws. If I'm not mistaken, even if they have a sign, all they can tell you to do is fucking leave. I mean, not just a bank. I'm just saying, say a restaurant that you go into or whatever, and they see you have a gun. If I'm not mistaken, all they can do is tell you to leave. You have, that in here, you got to let go. I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me on that. But if they don't have the proper signage, and it has to be on, and South Carolina did it really good. I don't have a piece of paper real handy. Anyway, they made it to where, like, if a company wanted to print out the proper sign, it's 1 inch or half an inch longer than the normal copy paper.
8.5 by 11.
Yeah. So they made it 11.5 or 12 inches is what it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's not the 11.5 or 12 inches or whatever it has to be, it don't count. You done nothing illegal. It could be on a fucking bank. They could have it on every fucking door, window, and everything else. And it's like, no, it's a half inch too short. That sign don't mean shit. All you can do is ask me to leave.
Yeah, I don't know about the size part of it, but down here in Florida, I think all they can do is ask you to leave. But my eyesight ain't that good, so I might just miss the sign and hell with them.
I might have missed a few signs.
I carry everywhere I go. If it's got a sign up, that's all right. As long as they ain't got a metal detector I got to go through, I'm going in.
Yeah, I've even brought mine to an amusement park. I think it was Knott's Berry Farm. Because that's where all the people are. That's where the shit would happen.
And the only place I won't carry it is, of course, a government federal building or hospital. Because that's against state law or federal law, whichever one.
I did get fucked at a hospital once. Not literally, but I walked into a hospital.
Damn, here we go. Good story.
Thanks for clarifying that for us, Blue.
But
we want to hear that other story. Go ahead with that one.
And the first thing I did before because they have a metal detector, I pulled out my badge and I showed them, and I'm like, I'm off duty. I am carrying, and I just wanted to let you know. And then I walked through the metal detector. They fucking flipped the fuck out. I mean, they flipped. You're not allowed about, and they knew who I was. Like I said, we're a small community. They knew who I was, but it was against their fucking policy. So I did have to go fucking put it in my car. But that pissed me off. I should have actually wrote a letter to somebody for that, but because I mean, I don't know. It just, I realized that, anybody can go rogue. I mean, fuck. I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, if I had a wife that worked at the hospital and we were going through tumultuous times and I tried to use that as a cover of, look, I'm here to get treated, and then I end up going wherever and shooting the place up. But still, I mean, it's like, damn.
I went to a doctor one time, and I really didn't see any signs when I walked in, and she said, "I need you to take your shirt off." I'm like, "For what? I'm here for my ankle." And she's like, "No, I need you to take your shirt off." I said, "Well, I need to go ahead and let you know now. I've got a pistol." And I pulled my wallet out, showed her I got my permit and everything. And she's like, "You can't have that here." And she's like, "You come back, you got to leave this in the truck or whatever." And I was like, "Okay, you'll not get no more money from me." And I found somebody else.
Okay, yeah, that happened to me as well. Now I have to go back to another one. Went to a doctor's office just for a regular checkup, and now they do the the blood pressure. It was wintertime, and I was like, shit. I was like, and whenever the first person that sees you is like an LPN or something, like just a young kid that like gets your vitals and shit, and I'm like, ah, fuck. I've got my my BDU pants on that I wear for work. I've got my undershirt that I wear for work, and I got a hoodie on. I got a cruiser parked in the fucking driveway or the parking lot. And I told her, I was like, before I pull my arms out of my shirt, I was like, I am carrying a gun. I was like, I'm a cop. I was like, here's my badge. I was like, the police cruiser is out in your parking lot. And I pulled my badge out. I did everything real slow. And I was like, here, look. She's like, okay, no problem, no problem. Took my blood pressure, did everything else. She left. And then like a doctor, a nurse, and another male came in, and they're like, boy, you just scared the shit out of that girl. She was so freaked out. We actually had to go to the windows to make sure that there was a police cruiser out there. I was like, the only reason I'm carrying right now in the doctor's office is because technically I'm working. I took a long lunch to go get my physical or whatever. And they were cool about it and everything, but they said, next time, please don't bring a gun in. And I'm like, you are in the area that I serve. I've got a police car in the driveway. It was like, damn, people, let's use a little bit of common sense. But I mean, people just get freaked out over that shit.
That makes no sense to me.
Well, people that are, I won't even say anti-gun. They're just not gun people. This is something I had some recent experience with. They think that people that carry guns are about to snap and shoot people at any moment. I mean, this is the feedback I'm getting personally. But especially for a police officer or something like that, it's like, you're a freaking police officer with a badge and his gun still scares you. But yet, if your house was getting robbed, you would want him to come in guns fucking blazing. What is, if you're getting raped, if you're a woman, you're getting raped, are you scared of the gun that the cop comes up to defend yourself, to defend you, to pull that rapist off, to shoot his ass, whatever? Why in a calm environment does it scare you?
Mm-hmm.
He has to have it on you to, when that bad experience happens, he can defend you. I don't get their freaking mentality. I don't get it. I mean, I do, but I don't, if that makes any sense. They're snowflakes. My God.
Could you imagine what the uproar would be? That same situation, a cop that was basically not on duty, but on break at a local doctor's office, unable to thwart somebody that was pissed off because their wife died from a mistreatment or something. I mean, it's like,
yeah. You're a police officer, trained out the ass, got all the certifications. You have every right to carry a gun wherever you want. A doctor says, "Hey, leave that in your car," and then some, like you say, some pissed off husband comes in because his wife got misdiagnosed, or the doctor just couldn't save her, whatever, and he decides to shoot the place up. And there you are, a police officer, and you're like, "I got a taser."
I'd be hiding because at that point I had nothing.
I mean, it makes no sense. And that mentality that wussification of America that happened, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, where there was no household in America that didn't have at least a shotgun, a 22 or something, because you got to protect the livestock or whatever, to now. I mean, it's one thing if somebody gets scared to know that I have a gun. When somebody, a freaking nurse, a civil servant to an extent, is scared because a police officer has a gun. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, the police I see, I was in a restaurant here the other day, and it was a K9 unit. That son of a bitch had like 10 Glock mags on his vest. he was armed to the teeth. I was like, damn, that son of a bitch is ready for fucking war. I mean, it didn't, of course it didn't fucking bother me. I was like, that's a cool rig.
Exactly. Might as well have it, not need it.
It don't matter if you got one bullet or 100. What does it matter? It don't take but one to take your ass out.
Exactly.
Unless you're John Wick and you got to do 3 shots, 2 in the chest, 1 in the head.
No, and I actually think it's cool. Our local judges here, they're carrying all the time. It's like, why not?
They should. They definitely should.
Right. They're the ones that take me.
Nobody else is allowed to have a gun in the courtroom. They better. Somebody's got to protect
Someone
them, right?
should have one. That's true. That's a good point. Well, like, someone, please shoot this motherfucker.
There was a video out not too long ago where I think it was a child custody hearing where the dad flipped the fuck out because the judge ruled against him, and the deputy, it was like one deputy in the courtroom, like tried to subdue him and it wasn't working out. The fucking judge comes off the bench, takes off his fucking robe and starts throwing down. It was like, damn.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Well, that's what you got to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and technically it's his courtroom. He is the law. I mean, he is the law. He is the elected official.
Yeah, he could beat the shit out of that guy and then put him up for contempt and put him in jail for another 6 fucking months.
After he gets out of the hospital, right?
Yeah,
there's only one bailiff in there anyway, typically. I mean, most courtrooms, like typical courtrooms, only have a single bailiff, a sheriff, usually, I guess, at least where I'm from.
Does the hospital count as tight, sir?
How about the video out there where the fucking child molester is being escorted from like a 4th or 3rd floor courtroom, and there's like 3 deputies standing kind of around him, but they're like nonchalantly with him, just walking because I guess it was like time for a lunch recess, and the dude bails off the 3rd or 4th floor balcony. It was like, man, that trial must not have been doing too good, and he figured, fuck, I'm done. I might as well just end it now.
There's a lot of good stuff out there.
Thank God for YouTube. There's some extra money for TR right there.
That's right.
Now, I'm thinking about, the slip of paper that I get every time I renew my CCW, and I don't recall ever seeing anything about hospitals being on there. And every hospital I've visited or clinic or whatever, not that I'm hospital bound for any stretch, but we don't have metal detectors or anything of that fashion whatsoever. So, that's interesting. And in the comments, state your state and then say if you know whether or not if you're allowed to carry in a hospital. Because I honestly don't know. As a California, do you know any better, Rick?
No, and it's funny, as I was going to put North Carolina in question mark because I'm not sure. I don't know if I don't see why it would be, because it's It's not a federal building. It's not a.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not allowed to carry any federal building or government operated building, including the post office, but which is stupid because that's actually a private entity. It doesn't work under the guise of a government uh, company, so to speak. But yeah, like courthouses, any government building, police stations, obviously, courts.
Banks.
No,
Yeah, I think that's pretty much national.
Banks, there again. I mean, pretty
banks
much
is state by state.
Every bank I've gone into in the last 10 years has at least in my area, has the man trap where you have to go through one door and then you go through a metal detector. The door locks behind you. You walk through the metal detector, and then if you're clear, the door in front of you opens, or you can gain entry. But obviously, if they didn't have that, I've never seen a bank that says, hey, you're not allowed to carry a gun in here.
I have never seen a bank like that before.
Yeah, the banks are a little different around this side. Some of the credit unions and stuff are normal. Old bird dog.
Boy, she's going way out there with that one. But she has her tinfoil hat on, so she's okay.
We're all reading the comments.
I know.
I'm waiting for
Good bird dog.
Well, when they're 4 paragraphs
Answers.
long, it takes a minute.
Yeah, I mean, consistently the chat room is like 20 seconds behind our actual conversation. So
Yeah. So they don't even know yet. They were quiet reading, and then now they do.
I can't remember. The last time I was in the hospital, I don't even think they had metal detectors. I know you're not supposed to, I think, in South Carolina. But I don't remember them having metal detectors. They may have. I don't know. It's been a while.
I went to the ER a few weeks ago, and then it was just a normal sliding door.
Yeah,
No
that's the
metal
second
detectors.
person. Fred said in South Carolina, no carry in a hospital. Yeah.
All right, TR. We got a half hour left. You ready to rip into Antifa? Now is becoming.
Yeah, let's do that. That's a good subject.
Global terrorist organization. I just saw another naked woman.
I'm
We're
going to
talking
go
about the
grab some
ninjas?
dinner. I'll be right back.
All right, grab me some too. All right, start it.
Yeah. I'm kind of out of the loop because I've been on vacation, like I said, for the last week. So it's been limited on what I've seen. But the G20 summit was in what part of Germany?
It was Hamburg, wasn't it?
Yeah, that sounds right.
That sounds right.
Hamburg.
It looked like freaking Syria or Afghanistan or something. It would look like a freaking war zone. They destroyed businesses. There were cars on fire everywhere. There were shit on fire in the middle of the streets. It was freaking mayhem. I mean, if you want to talk about a terrorist organization, and I don't know that the Antifa started in Europe and spread to America, or because I thought it was just an American thing. I didn't know it was. Actually, I kind of did know it was that European thing too. So I guess it did start in Europe to start with, especially Germany. But these people are terrorists. They are not protesters. They are freaking terrorists. And I think the police need to go after them full onslaught, mow their ass down. There was 160 police officers fucking injured over that weekend. Fuck that. I know a lot of people think of us patriots and constitutional loving people and blah 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 blah, whatever you want to call us, that, you know, we speak out against the government. I speak out a lot against the government, but that doesn't mean I'm going to start burning a fucking city down. You know, I go through the damn channels that we have. That don't mean that maybe one day there'll be another revolution. And when that day comes, I'll probably be in line. But until then, I'm not destroying cities. I'm not burning buildings down, knocking windows out, you know, looting fucking businesses, fucking throwing bricks at damn cops. I'm not doing that. You know, I mean, I'm going to go through the channels that I have until I'm backed up against a wall where I don't have a choice to do anything else. I'm going to be a damn squirrel in the corner. Until you back me into that damn corner where I don't have any other fucking choice but to fucking attack, then I may attack. But until then, no. Fuck you. Go to jail. Shoot them son of a bitches. Mow them down. I don't give a damn what you do with them.
Now,
so invest in stronger bumpers.
see, I've same thing as TR kind of just, you know, pointed at, that I had no idea that this Antifa, whatever, kind of started. Did it start in the European nations? Because I see that like France has Antifa, Germany.
Yeah, actually, it did start in Europe, and I didn't think about it until I was just actually spitting that out, and it kind of hit me that because they were people in Germany were starting to become like us, nationalists. You know, they were starting to become like, hey, this is our country, don't fuck with it. And if you go through the definition of Nazi and all that, it gets into Nazism. And that's where it started. Well, not originally, but anyway, we'll just say for the movement now, that's where it started. And it kind of hit me as I was spitting it out. So, yeah.
You guys are saying 1920.
Yeah, that was a redneck prepper said Antifa started in 1920. What the hell? It's not that I'm trying to slow the chat down, or I'm trying to read the side comments because they have a lot of good information out there.
Oh, hell yeah. They always got good answers.
So what basically happened in the US then? Like what, a couple college kids did a Google search on, you know, we're standing up against the government, we want to do this, and then they found this Antifa, so that's what they call themselves, and they're a bunch of pussies. And
well, the Antifa, they latched onto it because of Trump, because they're saying that us that love our country and somehow tied Trump. I mean, the Antifa movement in fucking America is complete bullshit because the things that they're doing are fascist. What they are doing is what a fascist would do. The brown coats or brown shirts, excuse me, the brown shirts and, you know, all that stuff. If you go back and look at history, everything the fascists actually done, that is what Antifa is exactly doing, but yet they're anti-fascist. We're not the fascists. They are. And that's what makes it so ironic and so fucking stupid. It's like, you're the fascist, not us. But they're so ignorant of the facts of the situation and what they're doing. They don't even know what a damn fascist is, period. They don't know. They just think, oh, Trump and these conservatives and these gun guys and these militia and these blah, 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 they're all fascists. No, we're not. You are. But they don't get that. And there's nothing we can do to actually change their damn mind.
no,
They're just that freaking ignorant.
What did you see the Trump supporter that went, you know, quote unquote undercover to one of these Antifa rallies and was spitting out Hitler quotes, and everybody was like, yeah, yeah, and then it was like, what the fuck?
Exactly. Yeah.
This is, I don't know. But where did we as a country go wrong? Is it the internet? Is it the instant gratification from social media? Is it they think they want to be a part of something and then they get into it and it's like, oh fuck, and then the group mentality, the mob mentality kicks in. I mean,
I think it's a gradual thing that happened over time. The colleges, the education system, period, even through grade school, has slowly became very liberal, very socialist, been took over. You know, and this is something that's been going on since the early 1900s, late 1800s, where this mentality has been tried to have been forced onto the American people, and they finally figured out a way to slowly implement it. And basically, the kids are fucking brainwashed. But that is basically it. I mean, from what our country was founded on, how our country was, and then this socialist, communist thinking people. And what's the real bad thing about it is, I shouldn't even say bad thing, but what these young kids don't realize is any type of socialist or communistic country, socialist or communistic government, ultimate goal is complete fucking control of the people. They're fighting for something that they think they're fighting against. They think capitalism is bad. They think a free society is bad because it's not fair. Somebody can have more money than me and blah, blah, blah. And they put these ideas in these kids and they kind of teach it. And that's the curriculum. And I still said it wrong. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. And they've brainwashed these kids into thinking this. And so as they grow into young adults, they're thinking, this is what we should be doing. To go, capitalism is wrong, and this and this and this is not fair, and blah, blah, blah. The whole goal of the communism movement or socialism, either one, really don't fucking matter. Same thing, is to control the people totally. They think that they're going after a more anarchic type of thing, that, hey, everybody should be equal and blah, blah, blah. They don't realize the government's going to get rich, fat, and powerful, and they're going to control you like a puppet on strings. That's what they want. And so they're going to brainwash you into thinking better for everybody. And at the same time, they're going to kick back and they're going to be laughing, drinking their champagne, smoking a big-ass cigar and saying, we got these fools to put us in power. We didn't have to fucking lift a finger.
mm-hmm.
And that's basically, in a nutshell, what it is.
I don't know if it's because I'm drunk as a billy goat or what, but it seems to me everything started going to shit with the hippies in the 60s, and it's just been going downhill from there.
It actually started back in the early 1900s. It just didn't take hold, and it got pushed back a little bit. But that's, as far as America, the communistic movement started back in the early 1900s. That's why we have Social Security. That's why we have welfare. That's why we have all these socialistic programs. They started way back then things happened. I mean, it's way too much to get into, and I don't have any facts in front of me to spit out to make myself sound intelligent right at this moment. But it started back then, and all these programs got put in place, and it started way, way, way back. It's just it took a while for them to take a foothold. But you're right, Mossy. I mean, that was but see, that was brainwashing from a generation before. You see what I'm saying? A slow fucking death is what it is. They realized they couldn't just make it happen like that. And they realized that this is going to take generations to get in, beat down into people to thinking this. I mean, Jesus, look at the damn people out there thinking they need a Obama phone. They need, the government should pay for my cell phone. The government should pay for my health insurance. The government should pay for my apartment. The government should pay for my food. The government should pay for my infant's freaking formula. That didn't happen 8 years ago. That happened 100 years ago. It just took this long before it finally got embedded into people to think in this way. It didn't happen overnight.
How about the government needs to pay for my fucking drug addiction and keep me alive with Narcan? In the United States, how many fucking states have come up with this? Oh, Narcan, or not Narcan. I'm sorry, opioid epidemic. It's an epidemic with all this stuff, and now we're spending millions and millions and millions, and it's every state. Look at your state. Well, I don't want to say every state, but damn near every state. How much money, taxpayer money, is being funded for police departments and everybody else to get free fucking Narcan to save a drug addict?
I have a buddy who works at a hospital. I'm not going to say who it is, but he's a YouTuber out there.
His name is Fred.
And we'll just call him Friend. And he sees people come in and out of this hospital. Some of them are cranked up on meth, crack, you name it. They're just completely out of control. And he or she might have seen one situation recently where this guy was so jacked up, the local hospital wasn't capable of saving his life, and they actually had a helicopter fly in from a larger city and grab this guy and take him off. That's just, I mean, I'm all for human life and the Hippocratic oath of doctors to try to save human life, but when it comes to spending and absorbing such an issue like that, somebody's got to be able to say, this has gone long enough, that we've put enough into this. What do we do? Do we, I'm not even going to say let them die, but when they visited the same hospital 20 times in the last year, you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, the priority list should be kind of like knocked down. Yeah. Yeah. I see where you're coming from. I agree.
Yeah, like Yankee 4, who has a need to see doctors occasionally, from what I know, and maybe one of us, TR shooting himself in the arm. We have to wait behind in line for that guy who's just basically, I'm going to say it, hopeless. It's just not right.
I've actually been in a waiting room in the ER at a hospital. This is back when I was still married. My wife was sick with cancer. I forget what issue was going on. I don't know if she was, whatever it was, she had an issue. Something bad was going on. to the point where I took her to the emergency room. We had to wait in line. Now, this is before Obamacare and all this shit. This was back in the 90s. We had to wait in line because this mom, I hate to even say this, but it's still fucked up. We had to wait in line behind this mom that took her kids to the emergency room to get, looked at because her kids had the flu or a cold or whatever. And at the same time, literally, I ain't kidding you, in the same waiting room, this little girl was in there. She was like 8 or 9 years old. From across the waiting room, her arm was fucking broke. She was in an ATV accident. Her arm was broke. That son of a bitch was pointed the wrong fucking way. And we all had to wait because these kids had the flu and needed to be looked at. And I'm like, this is some fucked up shit. I'm not blaming that on the government. I'm blaming it on the hospital. But that was a fucked up fucking night. I was just like, you have got to be kidding me. Even my wife was like, you need to go see that little girl over there. Her arm is fucked up. Even as fucked up as my wife was at the time, she was like, what the hell?
Yeah, my kid at 11 o'clock at night has a fucking earache. But what they do, and I shit you not, and this is, I don't want to say it's a fact because it's just what I've heard. I've done no research. Let's say that you are, and I'm going to call him a fucking welfare rat. You fucking made a career out of being on welfare. You all of a sudden need to go get fucking cigarettes, beer, whatever. The government will fucking pay your mileage if you're taking your kid to the fucking ER to get looked at. So, my kid has an earache. So at 11 o'clock at night, your kid all of a sudden develops a fucking earache and you fucking turn that into the government for mileage to get reimbursed so that on your way there or on the way back, you can stop and get your beer, your cigarettes, and everything else. And I'm not saying that for the people on welfare that need the help. I'm saying that for these fucking rats that have made a career out of being on welfare.
Yeah, good point. They definitely know how to work the system better than anybody, that's for sure. They know all the ins and outs.
Well, it gets back to what I was saying, that this shit started. I forget exactly when welfare was started, when a lot of other programs were started, but it started decades ago, and it got slowly implemented into our system. People learned to play the game. People learned to, hey, the government owes us this. The government owes us this. The government, whatever it is, and it's just cascaded into this massive fucking problem, and our government loves it. It doesn't make sense. I know I've had this conversation with people, and they're like, well, if people are not working, they're not paying taxes, how's this good for them? I'm like, it don't matter. The people with the means, the people at the top, it doesn't matter how much money's coming in. They're at the fucking top. If we're all free, making our own money, doing our own fucking thing, and we don't really need your government. When I get up in the morning and I get in my truck and I drive to work, the government didn't have a fucking thing with me getting to work, for me getting up out of bed.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at my email now. I don't have.
When I buy my groceries, the government didn't have a damn thing to do with that. I know all the regulations and all that. You could, either way, basic argument, but I don't need the federal government to get to work, go to work, fix a few machines, come home at night, drink a few beers, talk with you guys. If the federal government didn't exist, for the most part, I wouldn't know the damn difference. But what the federal government wants is me to have to depend on them and them dictate what I do with my life to eat, to have a roof over my head and all that. That is the ultimate freaking goal. I don't know. It sounds like a fucking me put my damn tinfoil hat on.
You're halfway right, TR. But the problem is that the government doesn't dictate enough for the individuals who choose to take subsidies or welfare or whatever. I'm excluding individuals like veterans, handicapped individuals, or physically challenged, or whatever you want to call them, to them as an individual. Not being racist here, but
there's more white people on welfare than there is black. Saying somebody's hooked on welfare.
I was more speaking to like veterans and individuals that actually need the help, as compared to individuals who choose not to work. Somebody had made a comment in the side chat. It's been about 5 minutes now. That people have babies just to stay on welfare so they can continue to pull in more money. I think probably most of us have seen that, or at least several news stories about people who have babies just to get more money from the government, because you can get tax breaks and your welfare increases depending on how many dependents you have. I know recently I saw one on my local news channel. This woman had like 14 kids living in this tiny little like one room apartment, and she was pissed because she wasn't getting enough money. Yeah, that shit's got to stop. There needs to be some kind of buffer or deterrent, like drug testing. If you want government money, you got to do a drug test once a month. You need to show
awesome.
At least you need to show something like, I applied for 3 jobs per month. Something to get them out, because they bitch and complain and moan because they're not getting enough, but at the same time they're not willing to do the work, or at least put forth the effort it takes to get a better life. They're looking for the government to provide it for them, and literally that is not a way to be happy. Ask anybody that lives in any communist country, especially places like North Korea or Russia in the 80s. I don't know what it's like now, but anybody that's lived in a communist country that depends on the government to provide for them. Look at, what's that South American country right now that's having their like 3rd revolt in the last 20 years because they're pissed at their government because they failed yet again because socialism doesn't work. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Okay. Stepping off.
Venezuela, I don't even know how the hell Venezuela is still a country. They're doing so bad. I mean, they're damn near like cannibals down there. It is nasty.
And think about what SoCal just said. We have, and again, people on welfare that need it. This is not against you. But we have welfare in the United States of America to where you make more money depending on how many kids you have. You're raising 9 to 6 kids just so you can be on welfare. You're now putting 9 to 6 kids out of each one of these families into the community to do what? Suck off and have 6 to 9 more kids. And that's how this is going to work. In 20 years, we're going to be fucked because we're going to have all of these kids that have been brought up in this situation, and it multiplies and it multiplies and it multiplies.
We're already fucked, Blue. They've been doing it for years.
Well, yeah, but it's just going to continue to get worse. You're going to have more subsidized housing. You're going to have more food stamps. You're going to have more of this. You're going to have more free health care because they deserve it. That's what they get. And we're paying for it. That's bullshit. The government, what they need to do is fucking crack down on this bullshit to where, I have a girlfriend and I have 2 houses because I'm better off. And I fucking rent my house to my girlfriend who's on HUD. And so I basically get that money from my girlfriend. So I'm not paying mortgage. I'm not paying this. And we have a bunch of fucking kids that are all on fucking medical. And so now nobody needs to work. You know, crack down on that shit. It's a fucking fraud and it's a scam. This video is going to get so much hate.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Team.
Yeah, all that shit needs to be phased out, period. I mean, I'm not against helping out somebody that literally needs help, disabled, blah, 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 somebody down on their luck, some temporary help. I really don't have a problem with that. But just saying, hey, I'll keep you up the rest of your fucking life. No. that makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
Somebody 20-something years old is like, yeah, all I got to do is this, not get a job, have a kid every once in a while, and for the rest of my life, the government will cut me a check and put me in a house. No, fuck you.
There was some shit. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. There was some state, actually, I can't remember what it was, but they passed a bill in their legislature, the state legislature, in I think it was Florida, but I don't count me on that. But that basically said, if you want to collect welfare, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier, you have to have a drug test regularly, and you need to actively be looking for a job. And if you go so many days beyond that, they're just basically, they cut you off. In California, I think you have 52 weeks of eligibility of just plain old unemployment. But then you can go to welfare, which is the pay grade's lower, but neither of which they don't even care. They're just like, yeah, here's a check, here's a check, here's a check, here's a check. I'm all for that. Drug testing, I think we're all probably for that. Drug testing, prove to me that you're actually looking for work, you know, and even still, even better yet, instead of just giving them a check, okay, you can't find a job. Would you like to work? All right, well, maybe we'll bump up your welfare 20% if you come work for us. You know, go help us build a road. Go, you know, sweep a sidewalk, or, you know, something. Do something for the community.
Couch.
Back in 2008, 2009, I've never been on welfare, but back then, when everything went to hell, they did a couple rounds of layoffs where I was working, and I wound up getting laid off. And there was literally there was one company had a sheet of plywood in front of their front doors that said no help wanted. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was no work nowhere. And I was laid off for 6 months. Luckily, you know, we had stuff paid ahead and money put back because I was making good money. But back then, there wasn't nothing. And I was glad to be at least getting a check from the unemployment back then. But the way they're doing the welfare and stuff now is just ridiculous. They do need to do some drug testing. And SoCal, I think, never done it. But the only thing California has done right is the weed. I don't see that really as being a drug, like, you know, coke or, you know, something like that. I was raised up in a fucked up home, but that I don't think is an issue. Which, you know, you don't smoke some weed on your own time. I think that should be fine.
Well, yeah, and the weed aspect, you know, as long as they're treating it like alcohol or any other legal controlled substance, fine, tax the crap out of it, put the drug dealers out of business. I mean, that's the best benefit of legalizing marijuana right now. You put a whole bunch of drug traffickers out of business. But yeah, I don't really see a problem with that. It's the people that really take advantage of the system is really more who I'm talking to. I'm not talking about the guy who got laid off and having trouble finding work. You know, like I said, keep submitting resumes. You know, prove that you're actually trying to find work. That should be a pathway to get more assistance should you need it.
Yeah, well, and I think unemployment's a whole different thing than welfare.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm using the
two different things, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're right. You're right.
You're trying to find a job, and until I find a job, and I have no problem with that. Problem with charity to a certain degree, you know, is just not making a career out of the government owes me a check. That's a whole different fucking ball game. The government should pay my fucking food bill. The government should feed my child. The government should pay for my housing. A check and a phone and blah blah blah, whatever. I mean, you know, the list goes on and on. No, that's a whole different thing than somebody down and out. You know, the fucking plant closed. There's no jobs in the area. I'm doing my best. That's a whole different situation. I have no problem with my tax money helping somebody out that's doing what they can to fucking survive. But somebody that just says, no, the government fucking owes me this. They should buy my groceries. They should pay for my housing. They should give me a check so I can buy, you know, alcohol and drug, whatever, you know, pay my cable bill. You know, fuck you. No.
Isn't unemployment paid by yourself in the company that you worked for?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole. That's why I say it's a whole different situation. It's a whole different thing. That's why employers are hesitant to fire people unless they have really good. Usually, it's for coming in late, laying out, and all that shit, so they can get out of paying unemployment, which means you don't get it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks before. It depends on the state, I guess. I know in South Carolina, if they fire you on positive grounds, on, you know, definite grounds, it's like 2 months before you can freaking get unemployment. So it's like, well, if you can afford to live with 2 weeks without, 2 months without pay, period, sure, we'll reinstate it and we'll give you unemployment, but you're gonna go 2 months without it, or whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but it's something like that.
Yeah, there's a big difference between being a fuck up and losing your job versus your company going out of business and see you guys later. There's no more jobs. There's a huge fucking difference between that.
Yeah, for sure. There might be a time for anybody that they're going to be down on their luck.
But if you caused it, you caused it. I mean, that's like me or Rick. You know, in any day of the week, let's say that Rick smokes, or let's just say Rick does meth, and he's
I get a DUI. I get a DUI. I'm basically done.
Yeah, so am I. I'm fucked. Nobody else is fucked, but we are.
Yeah, exactly.
But we kind of know that going into the profession. That's why I'm glad these chats are here. I get to sit in my house and drink.
Exactly. Well, I'm drinking iced tea, but this is my bar. Basically, I get to hang out with my friends and don't even have to drive anywhere.
Now, and I don't think there's anybody here on the panel, anybody that is against welfare, against unemployment, that helps people out that are in a time of need. If it's a time of need where you fuck yourself up so bad that you can never work again, like legitly, hey, we're humans. We're going to help you out. But if
it's such a small percentage of the population, and yeah, sure, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. Neither do I. I mean, it's against the fucking career welfare rats. That's what I'm talking about.
But when you meet 20-year-olds that pretty much hadn't worked a lick in their life, and don't plan on it for the rest of their life, that's where I have a problem.
Mhm.
Or they want $30 an hour and they have no, their first job.
No, these people ain't even looking for jobs. They don't want a fucking job.
Well, that's because they're not getting $30 an hour.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I think I'm worth $30 an hour, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, we had a thing down here where the people that's in the fast food industry wanted $15 an hour. I can't go to their drive-through without getting my order fucked up, and you want $15 an hour? No.
That's the joke around here because the medics, the ones on the AMR, the ambulance service, they're getting basically paid $15 an hour, and they're like, I got a medic license, I got all my credentials, all this stuff where I could, basically be sued for if I did something wrong, right? And a guy can flip burgers and make the same amount as me. It's fucking retarded.
Yeah, you got somebody out there that can literally save somebody's life to make the same money? No, that's wrong.
Mm-mm. Minimum wage was never intended for you to make a living off of. That was for teenagers like me. When I was 15, 16 years old, making $3.25 an hour, that was for a teenager, or that was for a semi-retired person for supplemental income.
Mhm.
It wasn't designed. I mean, minimum wage. I don't even know if they should be a minimum wage, but let's just say there is a minimum wage. There was when I grew up. That I couldn't afford to live in an apartment and buy a new car and have a wife and baby and all that shit on minimum wage. A minimum wage job means you have zero fucking skills. You don't know your ass from the hole in the ground. You are technically, you are no service to society. You're a ditch digger. You're a bag boy. You're taking orders at fucking Burger King. That means you have no fucking skills whatsoever. The start of a career. That is a start of getting a start in life of, okay, I started here. Here's where I want to be. And then I can have a wife. I can have a car. I can have an apartment or whatever. A minimum wage job is never you flipping burgers or taking an order. Do you want extra cheese with that? That does not qualify you to have a fucking house. If you want that, that means you have to fucking strive to do better. I'll give you a perfect example, and I hope nobody at where I work at fucking watches this shit. Anyway, buddy of mine, a few years ago, son actually graduated college, but he couldn't find a job. He was living in Columbia, South Carolina. And so he's asking mom and dad for money because he couldn't pay rent, and he couldn't pay rent, and he couldn't pay rent. And his dad was finally like, look, you come up here. If I'm not going to pay your fucking rent. I'll feed you and house you, but you're going to get a fucking job. So he moved him back up to where I'm at, and he was able to get him a job. I mean, it's manufacturing. There's jobs come open all the time. He's like, okay, boom, got him a job. Starting out kind of job, And this boy's in his 20s, and he's working beside people that's in their 20s to 50s. And he's like, he goes to his dad and he's like, this is as far as they're going to go? This is all they're going to do for the rest of their life? And his dad was like, yep, that's all they're going to do. That's their goal in life. And it pays pretty good, don't get me wrong. Pays decent for the skill level. And he's like, yeah, that's all they're going to do for the rest of their life. They're going to put parts in a box. And he's like, I don't have anything in common with them. I mean, I want more than that, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, there you go, son. If you want more in life than putting parts in a box, you'll have to strive for it. You'll have to work for it. You'll have to fucking work your ass off to get to a higher level than that. It's not going to be fucking handed to you. And his son learned a very important lesson. I mean, we were talking about this yesterday at work. And because he was like, I mean, literally, people in their 50s are like, yeah, this is what I do. I put this in this box. Well, guess what? Your skill level is fucking zero still. It took you to learn how to do your fucking job. And that's something that my dad told me. However long it takes to train you to do your job, that's what you'll get paid. If it takes them 15 minutes or an hour to train you to do your job, that's what you'll get paid. If it takes 10 years to learn your trade to be at the level that you want to be, that's what you'll get paid. Just my little experience in life and some whatever. But I mean, you guys, I know SoCal, you're a big IT guy. You know your shit backwards and forwards and technical networking shit. You can't come out of high school and do your job.
No,
Rick,
definitely
Rick's fireman. I'm assuming a fire chief, but I don't know. I don't know what your title is, Rick, but I know you're not. I know you're not sitting in the same fucking grunt little bench as the 20-year-old that just got out of high school.
No. No, I'm a battalion chief is what I do.
Well, there you go. And you get paid accordingly for what it took to get that. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I have a problem with these people wanting $15 an hour to flip a fucking burger. It took 15 minutes to show you how to do your job. You don't fucking deserve that. I don't know. Maybe I got off tangent. I don't know.
You're doing good. You're doing good, TR. All I know is there's a fly in the office and it's buzzing my head, and I'm waiting for it to come around so I can kill it.
No, I tend to agree with you, TR, on everything you just said. And for my position, you know, we had a new guy come in a couple of years ago, and he asked me, he said, what college do you go to? I said, college? Hell, I never graduated high school. And he's like, what the hell are you doing here? Like, 'cause I got a hell of a work ethic, bitch. And he just started laughing and shaking his head and walked out of my office. He's like, yeah, it just blew his mind that I'm uneducated, I guess you could say. But, you know, it's, I don't know, the way these people just expect things to be handed to them with no effort put into it. It just, I don't get it. I really don't.
Well,
yeah,
on the job training.
On the job training, exactly. I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm just a maintenance tech in industrial maintenance or in industry, and I'm in injection molding. You know, I'm like a lead guy or whatever. You know, I'm not the fucking maintenance manager. I'm not the maintenance supervisor or whatever. But at the same time, I mean, I have a little bit of position. I have a little bit of respect at the plant, or I have, you know, whatever. And, yeah, I mean, I'm not fucking rich by no means, but I make pretty good money for a guy with a high school education. I got some college, but I don't have a degree. I don't have a college degree. But by God, what I do have, when I boss those other guys around, I fucking earned that shit.
Exactly.
Well, the company I'm with, I started with them in '94, shortly after high school. And I started as a helper, working out in the field all over the damn place. And, you know, just learned as I went and moved up, and now I'm in the office, you know. And if anybody would ever said that my dumbass would be where I'm at now, and I'm not rich, not even well off. I do okay, but I would have never thought I would have wound up in the office anyway.
Well, basically, getting back to that story I was telling about the buddy of mine, his son, he was telling me that his son actually thanked him for that. He was like, because he's like, well, I don't want to do that. I want to do something better. And the dad, my buddy, he's like, well, there you go, son. If you want to do better than that, you'll have to work your ass off. You'll have to strive to do better. You'll have to put goals in front of yourself and say, hey, I want to be here. You want to be a millionaire, or, like, I want to run the company. No, not that high. You just don't want to be that guy or that gal or whatever it is. You just know that I don't want to be this robot or whatever it is. I don't know how to explain it without downing people, because I got no hard feelings against him. I mean, that's their station in life, and that's just, they don't have any goals. They don't want to go any further. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But if you want better shit in life, you got to fucking work for it. It don't just, nobody's just going to fucking hand you that shit. I mean, yeah, maybe if you was born with a silver spoon in your mouth, yeah, maybe then. But for average guys like us, I would say, for the most part, if you want to be the whatever, I don't care what it is. If you want people that if you want to do more than just be a robot on a production line, you got to fucking work for it. You got to say, hey, I want to do that. I'll do this right now, but what do I need to do to get to there? And you work your way up. It don't matter if you have to change jobs, go to school. I don't give a shit what you got to do. But if you don't have the desire, the self incentive to make that happen on its own, it's not going to happen. And to rely on the government to just say, you're alive, you're breathing, we're going to give you, you should make this much money. That is such bullshit. Because the world needs ditch digger too.
It all goes to people wanting to apply themselves, setting goals. I mean, what you're saying there's nothing wrong with what you're saying. It's just a question of, figuring out. And, honestly, I don't think a lot of us, I'm speaking for myself, but I'm going to assume, judging by what I've seen in life, a lot of people don't apply themselves or don't realize what they want until they're in their either really late 20s or early 30s, and then a light goes off in their head and they're like, shit, look at that guy. I mean, he's my age and look what he's got. Or look at that guy, he's my age and wow, he's fucked. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be that guy. Maybe I need to do what he's doing. Maybe I need to assert myself. Maybe I need to apply myself. Maybe I need to try harder. All those verbs right there. Asserting, applying, doing, making yourself better. Nobody's going to do it for them. You can only do it yourself. And I think going back to, a half an hour ago, or maybe it was longer than that, but the Antifa types, all these people graduating from Berkeley or Stanford or Yale, Harvard, you name it, with $150,000 degrees in underwater basket weaving and Indonesian tattooing art. That's not a way to make a path in life. That's just a fun major, and it's too bad for them that they're never going to make that $15 an hour job because they have a doctorate in ukulele manufacturing. It's a path you need to choose in life. I dropped out of college because I couldn't find a path. I started off as an English major, then I went to computer science because I was good at it, but I discovered I frigging hated programming, and that's all they were willing to teach. That's all they had when I was going to college. They didn't have the internet. They didn't have, most of the ARPANET hadn't even been developed yet. you know, they didn't have anything that I was interested in. I was helping my professors and the students in the classes I went to build computers and shit like that because I taught myself how to do it, and ended up getting a job and built my way up just by experience. And a lot of the kids these days just don't have that drive. They just don't have it at all.
My boss, he always used to say that man ain't worth a damn till he turns 35. And that seems to be true. I mean, especially with me, I just kind of fumbled my way through. And once I hit, about 35, that's when I started, realizing this shit ain't working. I need to do something a little different here, take more responsibility and move on up. So, it seems like a lot of them are just a bunch of young, dumb kids.
Well, that's the problem that ruins some careers is you have people that go stagnant in their position. I'll take the fire service and use that as my example. A guy, a young kid basically comes into the fire service and he decides, I really like the job of being a firefighter. I don't want to be an engineer. I don't want to be a captain. I don't want to move on to battalion chief. I don't want to be the fire chief, whatever the case is. You end up with these roadblocks because it's like a circle of life in the fire service. You're supposed to, in a way, move on to the next, transition to the next position so that then those positions have holes for the next young kids to come into. And then, they promote and the old guys retire out and, it's just a big circle of life basically. And you get people that want to just, they feel comfortable in that position and they want to stay there for 30 years. And I don't knock them for it, but they're basically slowing down the progression of how the circle and the cycle is supposed to be to give more room available for the next young group of individuals to come in. So you see that so often, which is kind of bad. Did I freeze up, or you guys just all sitting there like a statue?
No,
we were waiting for you to say dropping the mic.
Yeah, exactly. One of the great things, going into the fire service, you're not going to be a millionaire. If I wanted to be a millionaire, I'd probably try to be a doctor or some high-tech lawyer, whatever the case is. But my biggest thing was having the days off to do stuff. And the job's awesome, and you get to help people, and it's exciting because you get to go in places that are on fire and everybody else is running out. But one of the big pluses was all the days off. Like, you can go fishing, kayaking, shooting, whatever the case is. So that was one of the bonuses. And a lot of guys have jobs on the side, construction jobs, roofing, whatever the case is. So it works out pretty good.
Rick, back when I was in high school, I was weighing about 130 back then, but I was in good shape. And a buddy of mine, he volunteered, even in high school, he volunteered at the fire department. And his brother, I forget what his position was, but he's like, I wanted to volunteer also. And my buddy told his brother, he's like, oh, he'll be, great candidate. He's in good shape and he's an adrenaline junkie. And he said, don't tell him don't even bother coming out. We don't want no adrenaline junkies here.
Oh, yeah, right.
I was like, really? You jackasses run into burning buildings and you don't want an adrenaline junkie? It seems like that's exactly why you're there.
Yeah, you have a whole household of type A personalities. It's fun to watch, actually. Definitely fun to watch.
Yeah, when you get a bunch of type A people together, that's when you have like 50 cal rounds thrown in a fire, pound of fucking ammo, start a fucking forest fire.
You name it, we did it.
Yeah.
Kick-ass chili.
Yeah.
Kick-ass chili.
That was the best
It
chili
takes like
ever.
12 fucking hours to make that chili or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's
man.
called the 200-hour chili, right?
We're going right back around the circle now. You got to apply yourself if you want to do well in life. Or make good chili.
Yeah, you can't make a chili like that in 15 fucking minutes. It just don't happen.
Yeah, I think Curious Yellow Solar was going to try and make that, and he invited me over, but I couldn't come. But, man, if for nothing else, I'm glad you came for the food. Everything was just awesome.
It was awesome.
It was killer.
I hate to even vote for him again because it's like it's such it's such a limited thing that it's like I hate to talk about it because it was like the food was awesome. We shot a bunch of shit up and had a good time. Sorry you can't be there, but we'll show you the videos next time.
Ran people over. Oh, I didn't know that was rifle powder either, by the way. Or a pound.
Yeah, such a non-event though. It was like I didn't even turn I was talking to Blue, which Blue jumped out or fell out or something there.
There's no way that was a pound of fucking powder. Sorry.
Not even close.
I mean, I hate to
it was
date
like this much.
But yeah, if it was weed, it would be like an eighth. You know, it was one finger across the bag. And not that I know anything about that. I've heard my friends talk, you know.
Yeah, of course.
You know. That wasn't
word
a
on
pound.
the street is.
Just saying.
Right here.
The only thing bad about that is I didn't get there in time for it.
Well, Rick was talking about it, and he announced everybody, blah, 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 I'm going to throw this powder in here. It's old. I think it got damp. I'm not even sure if it'll burn, blah, blah, blah. And went on and on about it. And I was talking to Blue, had my back to the fire. I remember turning and looking, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then Blue threw it in, and it was like, poof. I was like, well, that made a little bit bigger fireball than I thought, and I just kept talking to fucking Blue. I mean, that's how big a non-event it was. It was like we made a big fireball.
I was the closest one to it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a non-fucking event. Nothing happened. Of course, according to some people, fucking damn near, blew his fucking trailers over. The camper almost flipped over upside down. I mean, fucking caused an earthquake in Colombia. I mean, it was just horrible.
It was. Fuck.
Well, anyway, guys, it's fucking midnight. I gotta go to work tomorrow. So
me too.
Had fun. Appreciate you guys coming on. I'll let y'all do an outro if you would like to. And I'll start with Rick. It's your six covered.
Appreciate you guys supporting
I'm representing, brother. Representing.
I saw that. I like it. Appreciate that. I think we found who the ad name guy was. I think they commented on the video, but no, I got some. Oh, I do have I'm back in California, so that shooting range that they've been working on building is actually done and ready. So hopefully tomorrow I'll get to check it out and I'll have some videos for you guys on it. It's an indoor shooting range that was designed by a place in Nevada out of Connex boxes. It's got 900 different scenarios on the screen. It does like visual on the paper, and then you shoot the paper and it registers your shots. But more on that later. But thanks again, TR.
It's good to see you, Rick. I know you've been busy. There's a lot of fires going on over there in California. So thanks for coming on. Mossy Nut, would you like to do an outro? My new guest.
First of all, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. If Twisted Metals of Texas is still out there, dude, I did not get your message till like 3 weeks after you sent it. I did reply. So check for that. If not, send me another message, please. You know, I got a few videos I'm gonna put out. That's pretty much it. But just, man, thanks for having me on, man. I had a blast. Love hanging out with you guys.
Well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. And SoCal, what's up, man?
Hey, I think I was in pretty much rare form tonight, and yeah, you know what? I probably misspoke a bunch of times, and I got corrected a bunch of times. It's fine, whatever. I think we're all here just kind of speaking off the cuff. Shit happens, whatever. But TR, thanks for having me on. I appreciate your chat. I appreciate everybody out in the chat room, and also Twisted Metals of Texas. He sent me a sticker, and I did a shout out video for him. I showed me sticking the sticker to my backboard where my reloading equipment is. And when I was finished with that, I brought it in, went to edit the video. I had no CF card in the fucking camera. I did the whole video with no friggin' way to record it, and that was brilliant. So, dude, Shane, I apologize for that. I will get you back, I promise. But yeah, I know, total friggin' California move, right? But anyway, you guys, it was great talking to you, Mossy Nut, for the first time. Very cool. And everybody in the chat, Rick, TR, rock on.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys, for coming on. I do appreciate it. I really do. And we're going to call it a night and jump off. Actually, we went a little bit overtime for my chats. And we'll see y'all next week. Yeah, I'll be back Tuesday. Should be back next Sunday. And we'll continue on. And we'll see you then. Later.
All right. Good.